Hey, welcome in. Right, I don't know why I've bumped it on TikTok as well. I thought we'll have a laugh, put it on TikTok and see if it stays up for more than 5 minutes, but I doubt it will. Get some rest, yeah, I need it. That's bloody clean screen's been quite a journey. So what I've got to do is get this, basically, well, a desk full of mess. Do we even have one? The goal of this is to get a CleanScreen V4 installed, doing the full works, taking a Game Gear, going from nothing to fully built and working, and then showing all of the new stuff at the V4. Mainly because we've just sent off about 280 of these today, released them today, and this is like, obviously we need a video before tomorrow, before everybody gets them, so people know how to actually install them and use them. So we've pretty much got to do this video. I don't think it's going to be the official install guide, because this is going to be the first one, but it's going to be the guide for now until I get time to do. I think I'll have to do like staggered installs, one showing the clean screen install, one showing the software. This is going to be literally, I've got to get a Game Gear for start with that even works. So this is just going to be start to finish job in one go, basically. Yeah, face cam. I couldn't be bothered to set it up right, but the face cam keeps showing. I've got to get like a LUT. It makes the face very red when it isn't, if I don't put the LUT on. So I've changed the color grading on it, but I haven't finished it yet. It's a bit over bright, just otherwise my face looks crazy red. Let me just let me show you I'll show you the filter of the camera without anything on. If I took everything off, you'd literally have like, that's the raw camera footage, because it's obviously a Blackmagic, so you can color correct up. I can kind of bring this down, contrast up a bit, that kind of way. But if I take the LUT off, or rather, if I put the LUT on a had, let me just change it over a second, you'll see, like, I don't know if it's my screen or it's very common on cameras, especially for me. I notice it makes skin tones incredibly red if you don't correct them. So there's the LUT. Like, look how red I look. And I'm not red, I'm literally, well, if we go to like the overhead, say, that's sort of my hand. It's like, that's the colour of my face, but look at the difference in the colour with that LUT. So I've put on, I don't even know, I've taken it off now. I think I put on like, it's called Moody 7 or something, is this one? I don't know, I've messed up the colour even more. I had something on, there you go, that one, turned down a bit, graded up a bit. So yeah, just ignore the skin tone colour for now. I'll patch that up and finish it on the next one. It's not something I'm overly concerned about for now. It's just I didn't want it to be bright red all the time. It was like every time I looked at it, I'm like, oh, am I all red? And then I'd look in the mirror, I'm like, no, I'm not red. It's just the camera goes like, obviously, like I say, I've got to sort out the colour grading basically. Right, so let's crack on with this. Let's just literally, I've not got a working Game Gear yet, so I need to start with getting a working Game Gear, and then we'll show the install basically. How much to repair a Game Gear? I think it's like, oh yeah, this one ain't getting boot touched. Look in the battery compartment there. I think it starts at like 30-40 pounds. I'm not even sure. Just you'd have to check it out. So let's not go for that one. Let's pick another one. Stays on line. Can anyone read that? I think it says stays on summit. Lines on screen, battery corrosion. So if it stays on and there's lines, maybe. Oh, these are all. Yeah, these are battery acid everywhere. Maybe. Is there any of them? This one looks clean. There we go. This one looks the cleanest. Because ideally, I don't want to have to fix a Game Gear as well as do all the install. But if we have to, we have to. And then get the Sonic game. Yes, this is an on-off. So normally on-off, we'll be fairly lucky. That's normally just power board. So I'm going to say this one's a winner, and we'll go for it. Anyway, replacing CleanScreen chips on PS4s. There is, but I don't work on them anymore. Like, beyond just HDMI stuff, we don't really work on the modern stuff. We're busy enough with this stuff. Yellow DMG with glitching issues. What's your order number? I'll check if it's already done. Oh, there we go. TikTok's done the usual block, so yeah, no different there. How would you get it to us? Just go on, I might as well say now TikTok banned it again anyway. retro6.co.uk, go to send in services, and then you can click in any of the services and read the big yellow text. Explains how and where to send it, basically, in the process. And so yeah, these boards are pretty leaky. The audio board's worse than the power board, but if we look at the audio board there, zoom in a bit, you can see the audio. I'm not going to use any of these, it's going to get a full upgrade anyway, but you've got all the electrolyte here, all the leakage out of this cap. It's kind of rotting that, but we're not going to use that board. The power board doesn't look too bad, but I'll put money on this power board's bad. So let's just chuck all this. We don't need any of that. We want to just power this up, and hopefully this works, basically. And the camera's making that loop. Yeah, the colour on that camera is completely off, because this is a purple shell. Completely purple, and that's like completely blue on screen. I was about to say we've got a new prototype in, but that's way off. Let me adjust the colour on this camera as well, I guess. Edit filters. Apply LUT. So what LUT have we got on here? Tagging, let me take that off. That's not doing anything. Floating cap, that's this one. Why is that not changing anything? Okay, that's not doing... Why is that having no effect? That LUT mustn't be applied. 1 second. Again, I think it's because I've changed. Is that going to apply now? Alright, now that's applying. Yeah, we need to see if I can get this looking right, because that is a bright purple shell. Yeah, I'm going to have to play with the colours, get that right, because that's... I wonder if the overhead, that's crazy, literally coming out blue. Let's try the overhead. No, wow, this shell comes out literally blue on camera, and it's as purple as could be. What the hell? That's mad. So that's weird. Everything else on screen is literally the right colour, but this shell is showing us blue. Seen that? Get that on the camera. It's literally blue. What the fuck? Yeah, I can't be able to change the colour on that for now, but trust me, that's literally purple, like completely purple. I'll see if I can sort that out after. Tell you one thing I haven't tried actually. Go to the big Fizzog cam. Is this one right? Nope, blue, and wow, look at the colour grading I've got on that one at the minute. That's mad. Let me take everything off that one. Edit filters. Take that off. Take that off. Yeah, so even stock camera, that's coming out blue. So yeah, we have no camera that can show that colour off at the minute. That's that out. So we don't need any of this again. We're not going to use anything off that. And we'll just see if we can get this to boot first. I think I did a photo on my phone of it, to be honest. That was the right colour. Let me see. But this is the next limited edition shell. It's not even out yet. I was just going to show it off in a build, but literally looks like the sapphire. I've even got a photo of it. I mean, it's not really like that. I don't think we've got much, well, I haven't got any photos really, a transparent purple. No, nothing that looks close enough to show off. I'll sort it and show it off after. Audio. Power. Right, speaker, clean juice. So first thing is, does this actually boot up with just a clean juice, I guess. Can you fill us out? It's been empty for about 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, let's see if this works. Right, so it stays on with the clean juice. And yeah, I can see Sega just about. So yeah, we've got a bad audio circuit, but you can see Sonic there, so it's working. Could do with the audio working, but this is about the clean screen for now, so I think we'll go ahead with this one and put the clean screen on, and then we'll see if we need to look at the audio after. The main thing is getting the screen on. Right, so first thing, like I said, this won't really be the official guide. It'll just be the guide for a few days until I get around to doing the official one. But for now, if you've got the CleanScreen V4, this is the guide you'll follow. So first thing with the Game Gear, you want to recap it. So we have all these old caps we're going to start by taking off and replacing. So all these rectangle things here, you can lift these up like this. And I just tend to snip them off on the Game Gear, or you can hot air them off, whichever you want to do. Right, so that's snipping them off, and then if you want to hot air them off, I'll show you. This is coming off as well, so we will take the screws out. And then the old screen, you've got this reflector for the backlight. Again, these fluorescent tubes, you can desolder or you can snip nice and flush to the bottom to take them off. Fuses, I tend to take out just because they get in the way of the clean screen. Otherwise, your clean screen won't sit flush. They're not doing anything electrically. Once we disable the backlight, but they get in the way of the new clean screen going down. So put them off. And then to get rid of the old screen, we flip it over this way and we make a dog leg like this. So we're going to make like an S shape under here and push like that. And then we're just going to get the hot air and warm basically down here, and it'll all ping off. Isn't all the same for single and 2/8? Pretty much identical, yeah. You basically solder a ribbon on either side and you just pick a different ribbon basically. So there's no real difference between the 1 and 2 ASIC installs. So that's that off, and then while it's nice and warm, you just peel off the tape that's on the other side there, like so, and that's the screen off without any damage to the pins, and there won't be any extra solder flying around. So that screen's for the bin. And then, been a while since I've done these, I always give them Zach do. We've got to take this L2 off, so for that we'll go to the back side here, zoom in a bit maybe on that. So we want to take this L2 off and go on here. So these two pins, if we just warm them up, you should find the L2 will just fall through basically. Like that. And then he's rolled out the way, but there he is. There he can go as well. And that disables all the high voltage stuff. So this, if you leave this L2 on, then you've got some high voltages all around here that can zap you. So with that off, we are ready for, well, we've got to do the recap and remove the other caps yet. So I said I was going to show you hot airing. You wanted hot air, the other caps off. I've just got this set back to my usual 480 Celsius, 80% airspeed. That's like my pretty much go-to airspeed. And just when you're working around the board, try and observe plastics and things. You don't want to be melting plastics if you can help it. So, for example, this one here, right by the plastic, you can either attack it from this side, like we'll go this way for the small one, but for the large one, I'd probably just cut it. So I'd probably just, do that. Don't bother going next there with hot air. There's no point. Then we have one over here. One by the other ASIC here. And I think that's all the caps off. Yeah, all the ones we need. Temperature, pretty much, to be honest, 480 degrees Celsius and 80% airspeed I've used on everything. The only thing I've ever damaged is this board right here. I've killed so many of these. It's the only chip I've ever managed to kill. So I'd probably do 400 Celsius, not 480. But if you know what you're doing and you've done enough practice and stuff, I've used 480 for everything for years, and the only thing I've ever known to die is this VDP. So I'm back to 480 because I know it works and I've never had issues with anything else. But don't go near this with 480 because, yeah, they defo die. But saying that, look at all this floof as well. This all needs cleaning. That's electrolyte from this cap has leaked here. So I'm probably just going to give this, I don't know, what do you reckon? Reflow it, considering, I kill these things. Or we could play it safe with an iron, because we know VDP don't like heat. So I'll probably put the extractor on, to be honest, and play this one safe for today. And we'll go down here with a soldering iron and solder for now. just because I know, like I say, I'm good at killing these VDPs. They are definitely temperature sensitive. That's it, that's cleaned it up pretty well. And then I don't think we need to do anywhere else. Like I said, this isn't really a Game Gear fixer-upper video. This is the clean screen install guide. We just want this thing to work. Like normally, all this green around here, what I'd do is, none of this is used now anyway. All this is the backlight circuit, but I'd usually either vinegar bath this or reflow with flux and clean all this up. Missed one by, oh yeah, the main biggie by the power cable again. Defo one you want to cut out, which is even awkward to cut out because you can just about get your cutters in. And now we need to do the recap nice and quick. So this will boot without caps, but obviously it needs the caps for stability. So if we zoom in on this, pull focus down, about there. What you'll find is all of the electrolyte from the caps will have eaten away at some of these pads. So you'll tend to find these pads look a bit black around the edges, as you can see. But they're normally, in most cases, they're perfectly fine. They just, all this black rust is like a bit of the PCB from the electrolyte just being damaged. And I'll go off the top of my head for the sizes if I can't remember. Oop, he's gone flying. If I can't remember, I'll look at my own guide. But we have 100 microfarad here. If you get both sides warmed up at the same time, it'll kind of pull into position like that. Right, we have, I know these two here are the ones, so we'll get them out of the way. And to be honest, every single 10 which matters, because this is the backlight circuit that's not used now. So in theory, we don't need these. We don't even need the ones. And in fact, I'll tell you what, considering we're doing a clean screen, and I always forget, and then people ask, we're not even going to bother putting the caps on that aren't needed. So let me just pull up the schematic and we'll work this out together, just so you can see how I do it. There's no point putting the caps on that aren't needed. So 2 ASIC. Right, so I'll show you how we figure out. It's pretty simple when you know how. Pull up the screen if it pulls up the right one. There we go. Here is the backlight circuit. So we've got the ASIC over here. This big circuit here, all this lot is backlight circuit. So anywhere we see a cap here with the straight line and curl like this, so C35 isn't needed. C37, C39. So we can look on the board. C37, C39, they're not needed. C35 is going to be one of these, I'm guessing there. So is C49 needed? Probably not. See if we can spot C49. We have 2 more there. C44 and 5, they're the 1 microfarads. So I think C49 might be needed then. So basically we don't need these two, this, and then C49 maybe we need. So let's see if we can find C49. To be honest, if it isn't in here, it's obviously going to be part of another circuit, so we will need it. There you go. So it's, in theory, yes, you need C49. C49 is part of the red light boot circuit here, and it forms a part of a fast on off, like a soft start and a fast reset circuit. So we do need it in one way, but we also don't in another. And then if I pull up the, I think it's on retro6.wiki. We've got a really old guide I did years and years ago for the Game Gear. I didn't even think I had it on there until recently when somebody asked, and it was actually on there. So if you go to retro6.wiki, go to Game Gear, and then scroll all the way down, you've got a cap kit. And then here, we've got a nice little visual. So there's the 2 ASIC. And you can see over here, The reds are hundreds, so basically this side at the top we've got 200s. Them all aren't needed. And then we've got 100 and a 10 staggered and 10, 10. So basically all we need to do, we put 100 on here, we need 100 on here, and then this will be 10. This will be 100, this will be 10. So basically got 200 left, this one, and then that's a 10, and everything over here is always 10. So there'll be that one and that one. So that's all we need to do. 3 10s, 3 100s, and that's this good to go, basically. But if you didn't know which caps, there's where you get them from. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, thanks very much. I've been flat out on this CleanScreen V4 for like 2 weeks, if not, well, to be honest, a month, but I mean literally flat out for 2 weeks every single day till late at night getting this thing ready. So we have one more we want to put up here. So we don't need the ones, just get rid of them. We need 2 more hundreds. That will do, so that one and that one. And then what size the caps? I don't even know, to be honest. They look like 0805s, but you can use 0805s or 1206s. You can use 1210s. I think after 1210 they're going to get too big to fit. So tack that side, tack this side, and then if you go both sides like this, you can get it to naturally pull into position. You can also hot air these on. So like I say, you can use hot air or an iron. I usually use hot air, but at the minute I'm using an iron. And this is one place to look for corrosion. This is a very common place for corrosion. Under this cap here, these traces that run right underneath are semi-prone to getting trace rot on. I've seen that a few times. So if you've got an issue with a game gear and you're recapping it, this is one place to look out for that rot, if you will. I've seen it multiple times. You can see just lightly scraping to bring back the pads. Basically hot air, fresh flux and solder, and scraping away reveals the pad. And you only need to know the pad's good. Doesn't need to necessarily be exactly like it was. It's going to have rot from the old cap, and there's not much you can do about that. So you're not going to get the footprint back to original. If you want to do that, get a re-PCB and you'll have a nice brand new PCB instead of an old rotted one. But I thought I'd do the guide on the original, so you can see it working on the original. If you want to hot air, let me just show you hot airing on. What you'd do is you'd still have to prep the pads. You'd still get your fresh solder on. And hot airing works best, to be honest, when the pads aren't damaged. When the pads aren't the right shape, or you're having to scrape them away like this, then you end up with too much or too little solder on, and hot air works very much with surface tension. So when you've got the wrong amount of solder on, the surface tension doesn't work as well and it doesn't sit as easy. So we have this one as 10, and then we've got 2 10s over there, so we just need 3 10s. And then if I just get me hot air, again, this is still 480 and 80% airspeed. So you just come in over the top, keep hold of the cap until it touches the solder, otherwise it'll go flying. Once it solidifies, or liquefies rather, into the solder, it won't go anywhere. And you can then let go like now. And then once it melts both sides, see how you can nudge and it pulls back into place. That's how you hot air them in. So very similar process, you can use whichever you want. Now we've got this one here. And these are just bulk caps, so these are just making the voltage, well, putting a local energy source near the A6 basically, so it doesn't dip the voltage rail. But the Game Gear will do perfectly fine without them. Doesn't actually need to have these on. It will run without them. It's just obviously you don't really want it running with dirty signals, because then you could get it struggling to load games or crashing randomly and things like that. It's more about the stability. Makes sense. Right, so recap done. We might as well get, I think then we'll get the clean screen on. So we've got all the other bits to do. We've got like the duo we can add, the clean juice, we've got all the shell we're going to do. But for now, we want to do, this is what we've come for, the CleanScreen V4. So this now comes as a kit with everything in. This is going to work for every revision of the Game Gear. As of literally today, them shipping today, this works with the VA0, 1 and 2. I've got to write the code for the 4 and 5, but then you can just plug it in yourself to a USB and update it. So I'll show you how to do that on this video probably. So for now, day 1 release has got support for the 1 and 2 A6, but it will have support for the 4 and 5s as soon as I've written the code. It won't be that long. So there's the board. We've got a new screen. So this is a high definition screen now. This is 4 times the resolution technically of the old one. It's 640 by 480. So you can get perfect integer scaling. Got a brand new bracket I've designed. So this is much improved now on the fitment. It fits much easier. It doesn't touch these pins anymore like the old one used to. Got a little bit of sticky. So this fits in nice and snug through there really accurately. And then when you're happy with the position, you can kind of lift that up, peel the sticky off and stick it down. So we'll do that when we're ready. And then you've got the ribbons for the 1 and 2 A6 again. And again, I will be making a VA45 ribbon. And once it's out, I can just chuck them in free on orders. All you'd have to do is send me your order number where you ordered the original from, and I can chuck you the ribbons in for free. They're just not made yet for the 4 and 5. And then to test this now, we can just plug the screen in. It doesn't even need a Game Gear to test. The one thing you will need is clean power, as in not the clean power board, but a USB plug that's quite clean for test ideally, because if it's dirty and you're just injecting a bit of noisy 5 volts, the screen might look a bit glitchy, which is just the bad power. So this is not a very clean power, but let's see. Let's see what we get on this. And if you plug it in and wait 2 seconds, it should basically tell you that there's no Game Gear. It should say like no GG. So it's just a quick test that I recommend you do. It's kind of awkward to do because the screen's where the plug is, but plug that in. Wait for 2 seconds, and then this should say, there we go, no GG. And this is obviously, again, very early code, but that seems pretty stable, so that does detect no GG. You can see it flickering between like no GG and resetting. That's because this is not very clean. So see this glitchy screen now? That's what I'm on about. If you get this, it's just this power isn't regulated as such. It's just coming off a dirty wall plug, and it's not regulated. So it's good enough to test. And if you unplug, you can see maybe it's even just positioning that well. But if you get a nice clean power, you can test this. But if you see that, even if you see the kind of the flickery. Don't worry too much about the flickering. That's working. That's just this crap power cable, basically. You can then like hold this as well, the test button. So let's see if we can get it boot there stable again. And if we hold the test button in, again, this might only work on clean. You should then see the version number after 4 or 5 seconds. So if it's going to detect it on this. No, so this is obviously too noisy, this USB. But that's the quick test to show you that the board's up and running. That's all we needed to see. And then when it's in the Game Gear and things like the clean user powering it, you'll get a nice clean screen, basically. So first thing we need to do is chuck these ribbons on. So let's get the ribbons out. The bag will come with the 4 screws for attaching the clean screen to the bracket. So we'll need them in a minute. And then you've got the ribbons. They're just all in one bag, but they're basically easy to figure out because you overlay this over the board and see if it lines up, and you can see this doesn't line up with anything. So this will be for the 1 chip. I can probably write on the next batch as well, literally like, 1 chip. But it isn't that, so it's going to be this one. So you hover this over and we should see this will line up. Or have I got that the other way around? Oh no, actually I was wrong. This one is the ribbon. I just got it in completely the wrong spot. So that one hovers over there, P-clock's there, left lines up with that cap, 5 with that cap, and these line up all down there. So that's the 2 ASIC. This one is your 1 ASIC, that side. And then the other side is, I could technically make the other side 1 ribbon. You wouldn't need both of these because these are identical ribbons, but if we flip it around that way, so this is the way they go in. The only difference between these 2 ribbons is one's got this little pad for SMS, the other hasn't. So I could literally make this into one ribbon, but the way you tell which one you need is you go over to here. Again, you'd put this in a position where it fits on whatever it's soldering to, which a good pointer is this. We zoom in, this L2 that we removed, that's where the 5 volts taps in on. So we hover this over there. You can see that goes there, that goes over there, up to the wheel. And the only difference is if this lines up like this one does with this pad here, this resistor, we know this is the ribbon for it. If you've got a resistor here, so obviously it's the 2 chips, you'll need the one that says SMS. And if you've got a 1 chip, you'll have this ribbon that also lines up with the 2. So if you wanted to use it on the 2, this would literally fit in. But you wouldn't notice that you're not getting the SMS pin. So on there then, if you soldered all this in, everything would work, but it'd always think it's in an SMS game. So the normal games would be the wrong size. So the one without the SMS is the 1 chip, and the one with these 4 here is also the 1 chip. And that leaves us with these. So all we have to do is solder these in place. So we can start with the pad here. And we will get some flux. Blob roughly onto there, and then we want to align these, and then probably reblob that to move the ribbon a bit. And now that's in position, we can go on to these pads here. So that goes onto there. That one goes onto there. We've got the 5 volt. We want the SMS pad. Like so. We have the 2 button. And then the backlight wheel up here. And then these, I just recommend that you remove these. So again, if I just show you the schematic and all we do, so people know, it's better to have the knowledge than just follow blindly. Let me just open the schematic up and put it over the top. what we're doing with this wheel is, where are we? Right, so here's the contrast wheel. Zoom in, see this VR1? That's this wheel here, what we're working on. We remove R33 and R44 to disconnect both sides of the wheel. And then you've got technically Q6 is connected to it as well, and C34. So in theory, if you wanted to remove them and R32, that'd fully isolate the wheel. But because we don't have the 34 volt rail, because we removed the, we basically either cut this 34 volt rail or you turn off the 34 volts. We recommend removing the R33 here to just make sure 34 volts doesn't go into anything, otherwise you can kill the actual board. So you do need to remove R33. But if you wanted plate safe, you can just remove like Q6, R33, R32, R34, and I believe that's all these here. So you got R32. I probably should have done this without before putting this down, but R32 is this one bad looks, R34 is here, R33 is very much likely that. There is the transistor, so they're all close together, and there's the cap. So if you wipe out these here, this disconnects the wheel fully. So that's all you really need to do. So I'd say that's probably like the recommended thing on here, basically. So we just go on there, and all you do to wipe these out, be careful you don't melt this wheel, because that's one of the things you might do. Just flood it with solder in the rough area, get your tweezers, and just kind of push the resistor off, and that's that one off. And then for the others, same thing, flood with solder over the top, and just lift them out of the way. And there we go, and then same for the transistor. You can even go, what you'll tend to find is you go the 2 pins on this side of the transistor and wait, and it'll just warm up enough that you can still lift it off without moving to the other side. You don't usually have to go to the other side, but if you do, you just have to tap for a brief moment. And then this last one up here, same thing. So you'd probably do this before putting the ribbon down, just so the ribbon isn't in your way. And that's all the components off there. And then if you really want to, you could clean them pads up of solder, but I'm just going to make sure none of them are bridging, basically. So they're all removed, that's them components gone. So now your backlight wheel is isolated. Like I say, you technically don't need to do that as such, as long as you make sure you're turning off your 34 volt rail, but the fact it can send 34 volts into the clean screen and kill it, you really do want to do that. It's just like a fail-safe. So that's the backlight wheel isolated and soldered. That's this ribbon soldered. And now we move over and do the same this side. So same idea. You want to place this ribbon down. And it depends where you want to solder first. You can either solder up here. You'll see on the T10, you've got this T10 circle that this lines up with perfect. There's this pad here because some revisions of 2ASIC have an exposed pad here. So you won't have a T10 there, but you'd have something here that lines up. So you don't need to solder both. It's there because there's versions of the board that have a pad there, and there's versions that don't. The most common one is this one, but there is a version where that rectangle will be needed, basically. So a bit of flux. We'll start with this top corner and solder that on. What can kill the board? The backlight. So if you want to be really safe, see this wire here, the far left one? Just snip this wire. So just cut that wire, basically, like that. And if you want to just cut it out the way further, that disconnects the 34 volt, so you can never now kill the board. Some people don't want to cut the wire, they want to keep it authentic. So removing these components disconnects the 34 volts from going into this. But if you want to be double safe, cut that trace. We also have on like the clean juice, that's why we have the 34 volt switch here. So it's hard to see, but if we peel off, this is my test unit, so I can peel this off. You can see there a bit clearer, pull focus a bit. There's the switch, so that's 34 volt on and that's 34 volt off. So we can turn this off on the clean juice as well, and now it won't send 34 volts in. And then obviously 34 volts would have come down here, but we've cut it, and even if it made it down there, we've removed them. So we've done all three things there to prevent any high voltage going in. Right, so now that top corner one's in, I'm going to go far down to the bottom corner and line up. I've improved these now finally, so these actually line up and can solder, because on the last board these were quite far out and they were pretty much useless for the H-Sync and V-Sync. So now if I zoom in nice and close, you can see I've made it so they should actually solder. So let's do these two first. If you're not comfortable soldering the H-Sync and V-Sync, you can still solder wires from the CleanScreen to the LCD pins, which is on the old guide, but it's fairly easy to solder to that pin. You don't even need to see it flow, because see how that's rock solid now? There's pins top and bottom of that pad, so it's actually attached underneath, and that's literally, can't lift it up now, that's soldered on. So that's how easy it is. You don't need to worry too much. And then the V-Sync is that far out the way, you can just come in with your iron from here and bridge over like that. But again, if you get blobs of solder on the chip, don't worry about it. Let's, for example, say this is what people stress about, and that's why I say kind of don't worry too much. Say you accidentally go, oh no, I've done all that. This is ridiculously easy to get off. Just make sure the tip of the iron's clean. So if you've got a little brass wool thing, clean the tip of the iron so there's no solder on. Flux, go in with your iron, come off. Clean the tip, flux, in with the iron, come off. And there it's all gone. You don't need to move, you don't need to drag, you don't need to do anything. You just basically get your iron so there's no solder on it. Flux, go in, come out, and most of the solder pulls onto your tip. Clean the tip again so there's nothing on the iron, and just repeat that. And normally within literally two or three blobs you get all the solder off, so don't kind of worry about doing that. All these resistors here, so again, these resistors aren't needed. All these two do is bridge over the top. So obviously they go back to our board, but ultimately these just bridge over these two pins. So if you accidentally knock these resistors off, you don't need to put them back on. These pads just bridge over the resistor and bypass it anyway. So long as you're soldering to the pad of the board, that's all that matters. So you can come in with the iron, lob onto these, and you should find they go on nice and easy. This one is for, again, it's always the resistor. So this pad goes up to here. I know they look tight, and some people get them confused. Like this one, some people solder to the cap. It's always the resistors. So this one goes to the bottom of the resistor, which needs a bit more, and this one goes to the top of that resistor. So it's just like that, basically. And then just always inspect nice and close to make sure everything's soldered. So D2 goes to this resistor. Make sure there's no bridge between these two. D0 is this resistor. D3 is here, D1 is there. And if you find it easier, like I say, you can remove these four resistors first to give you a bit more clearance, and then solder on. So I think that's the ribbon soldered there. I think we've got P clock and a few bits here. So we've got a 5 volt here. We just need to feed in and solder on. We've got a P clock. Again, there's a few revisions of the P clock, but it'll always line up. So this resistor connects to here, goes down, connects to here, goes to the ASIC. So you can connect to this resistor pad, this pad here, or even this resistor pad. All three of these are joined, but it's designed to obviously solder to this pad here. So quite a lot of solder on this one. Makes a big ball like that, and that's soldered. And then we've got the left here, which goes to C26. Kind of obvious though, like everything lines up and you can't really go wrong. There's not much you can accidentally solder to the wrong place, really. So I think that's it. That's the install done. In essence, that's like the soldering work done. What flux am I using? Back to Solder King now, and we sell it. So if you go on retro6.co.uk, I don't know whether I've done a new section or not. Let me have a look. Let's go on retro6.co.uk. Put that over. So, did I do a new section? No. So there's no section yet. Is it in mods and parts, send-ins? So in mods and parts, I put a section soldering supplies, and then the flux is here, basically. So this is the 30 GSM. This is the big one. And then we do a 10 cc, which is smaller. So obviously a third of this, but best flux we've used. So obviously we were a reseller for them. We stopped selling them, and then loads of people wanted them again. So we went back to selling them, basically. Spam, I'm guessing. Yeah, labeling these up, I should do really. The next batch we'll put like, 1 chip, 2 chip, or VA0, whichever. Did UK get any of the massive snow? No, we haven't had any snow yet. We've got cold. It's like cold at the minute, but we haven't had any snow. I think it's all due though. It's like all in the news that we're meant to be getting bad weather, but we haven't at the minute. What's the white lines? What white lines are we on about? Unless I don't know how long ago that comment was, to be honest. We only just looked at the comments, so not sure what part you're asking, but no linkage in the chat. Is there a short between D0 and 1 or last resistor? No, I zoomed in and checked that. So no, we'll soon find out if there's anyway. So now that's done, all we need to do is position this. I'm just going to go for the, like, I'd probably recommend you test it first, but I'm just going to screw all this in and connect it. So take the screen out of the bracket first. Bracket goes, if you get the bracket facing this way with the open hole at the top, and then flip it over, that's the way it goes. This then sits underneath, and these 4 holes line up with this hole, this hole, this hole, and this hole, I think it is. So like that, I think. Oh, sorry, this hole down here, isn't it? Yeah, so that one there, that one there. Yeah, like that. So get these top 2 aligned, and that'll align. And then before you put the screws in, this board, obviously the CleanScreen board, sits in between both of them. So get that into position like this, line that over the holes, and then basically get your little screws. I think I have as well. I did have. Oh yeah, there we go, like a baby electric screwdriver for the small screws as well. See if this works. Every time I come to this, it's flat. So we get that in. What do we do? Turn. Yeah. Doesn't work very well. Yeah, so that doesn't work very well. Probably easier to get the first hole lined up like that, so you can kind of see the screw going in. There we go. So that's like the first screw hole connected, and now you can probably go to the bottom corner here and push that into alignment, and then this one you want to push so you can see the hole. So you move this, you can see it moving. You want it to align with that hole there. Perfect. So when you can see the hole is clean through, flip over and plunk the other screw through. There we go. So that's them 2 corner pieces in. Now everything should be locked in. You can see I've now made it so it doesn't touch this, which was the other bracket kind of touched that a little bit. It also is now perfectly flat across the top. The other one had ever so slightly a twist. This is now flat. And now we can put the last 2 screws in. The screwdriver sounds so dead. It's got full battery. It's got number 1 and I don't even know how to use this thing. Like, I can never seem to change that as 1 button. There's no torque options, but surely you can change that torque. What do you do? Just hold? I don't know. Go back to my normal one for now. See how tight they are. Oh, to be honest, they're probably perfectly torqued, actually. Yeah, they are. So they're actually fine. So that's in. And then the obvious thing is connecting these ribbons. So make sure the bail, we zoomed in here. No, we're not. So this little bail here, this latch, you can see how it goes down and up. Just use your fingernail to lift up. And then it should line up perfect. And it should go into here, like so. And it'll stick out by, X amount. Basically, you kind of feel it lock in. But I guess if you wanted to know, that lines up right in the middle of the H and the S. And then latch the bail down. And then same the other side. That goes in. And that one lines up with maybe the T. Lines up with the T if you wanted to kind of visualize it. And then we should now, if all's gone to plan, fit the screen. So the screen, if you have it facing this way, say, with our logo here, flip the board over, and then this will go in here. Or I guess, to be honest, you can't really go wrong. Put the screen in, and it's got to have the ribbon coming over here. I will stick this in though, so it's not flapping around, because you don't want to flap around and rip the pads. So I'm gonna get this peeled off, and then I guess to stick this in neat, I'm gonna push it, like keep it up in the air like this, so I'm not touching the bottom. I'm gonna push it firm onto this and align it in, so I'm like that. And then I'm just gonna push down. So that's kind of stuck in place now, isn't going anywhere. Then this is the protective film we'll leave on. Flip over, and same for this. This bail is on the front though, not the back, so this lifts up. And then this goes in, you kind of put a bend on. I like to sort of lift up like that, get the whole ribbon in, and then it just kind of pushes in like that. And this one's got a white line on, so when you latch that down, you can see the white line is basically completely in line with the bail itself. And that's it, that's all installed. So unless we've missed anything or we've got problems, we should get this to boot. So moment of truth. If all's gone to plan, which it rarely does, we'll see Sonic. I don't think we're going to get audio because the audio didn't work. But we'll plug audio in anyway for the sake. And let's see if we get the screen. Clean juices here. Email for delivery of Dreamcast. If it's a Dreamcast order, you've probably just got the email of us printing it off. We'll be building it up, but the emails, if it's a processing email, it's us printing the order. You'll get a shipped one when we actually ship it. I think we hear Rusty. That'll be he's probably having his food, to be honest, right now. It'll be his grub time. Right, what do we think? Am I going to be lucky, or am I going to have to mess around? Oh, I was about to say no. There we go. Oh yeah, we actually have Sega. So we have got no audio, but I don't care about that for now because this is meant to be a CleanScreen V4. So look at that. Let's get this off. Oh yeah, and then pull focus maybe. Sweet. So look at that. It's a bit not exactly exciting with no audio, is it? Let's see if I can fix audio. I'll probably kill the board doing this. Just a quick test. No, is it that one maybe? No. I mean, I could have. Yeah, I could have a bad audio board. Let's just get another clean up. You'll see also this is now aligned, so it's pretty much almost perfectly central naturally, because a lot of people used to see this being quite far to the left. I've tried to make it naturally set over, and they'd think there was something wrong, but this is the position that when you assemble it, it's perfectly central. But yeah, you can probably, for those that have seen the V3, you'll probably see how much clearer and sharper that is. And in fairness, most other screens on the market are already the 640 by 480 screen. So we had a lot of catching up to do, but theirs isn't as cool as this now. We've got so many things we can show off here. So this is the core. When you buy the CleanScreen, I've actually lowered the price of the V4, so it's cheaper than the V3, even though it's more powerful. But you can upgrade. So this is like, you can upgrade to a Pro and an Ultra. And you can plug the USB in yourself. So the USB at the top here, you can plug in and update this yourself, which I'll show you in a minute. You can buy a license yourself and upgrade it. And it instantly upgrades, and you can get loads of new features. So let's just see if we can get audio first, just so, you know, I want to hear Sonic, but I'm not gonna do too much on the audio for now. No, so it's definitely missing missing audio. I really don't want to have to dig into the audio, because like I say, I want to show you the CleanScreen. But ooh, new member, thank you very much. Let me have a really quick look at audio, like really quick. It's been a while, actually. I don't think I'm even going to bother, because I've peeled this off. I don't want to get gunk on my desk on this screen. So ignore audio for now. I could always stream that tomorrow or something. Let me now show you all the cool things of... Has my camera got a... Huh, yeah. Can you guys see that red dot? Or is that my screen? Let me move this. Yeah, that's a dead pixel in the lens, isn't it? A little red dot. I thought it was on the screen, but that little red dot there, it's not being compressed. No, you don't need to well, yes and no. You don't need to open it up, because we have a flex connector here that's going to go to the new CleanScreens and the new power cores, so you can connect it up and reuse this USB. But you can, luckily, the Clean Juice at the minute, you can connect to 2 pins on the bottom of this. So we're going to solder D0, D minus and D plus to the Clean Juice, and then you can access this. So I'll tell you what, one thing I don't do, which people ask for, is I never show the finished job. I always do half a job, basically. So let me do the full job this time. Let me get a little protective cover on here. Ow, stabbing myself. Let me get one of these down. I probably shouldn't have taken that screen protector off. I got too excited. I think I've binned it as well. Yeah, I have. And I don't want to stick it back on because it'll be dirty, so just be careful with this. Right, so let's assemble this. So this is one thing I really want to show off. The new, really cool, bright purple shell that's nothing but blue on screen, which is really annoying. So even though this literally looks like I'm building a sapphire, honestly, this is a purple shell. I don't know if... I think we've just tried this, but I can't get, with just colour correction, must be one of them colours on camera that just doesn't come through right. If I tweak the saturation, oh, not saturation, geez, where am I going? I wanted to move the hue. If I move the hue, right, so, not that, a bit more purpley. So that is what, look how many hands on, that's exactly what the shell looks like in real life. But look at the colour of my hands and the desk. But if you want to know what the shell looks like, that's what it looks like. It's that colour. It's like really nice, like a deep purple. So that's what we're building. But until I can get a little LUT made, that'll do, to tweak blues to purples, you know, like a certain purple to show. It's crazy. I might as well just build a sapphire. That literally looks like a sapphire shell, but it's honestly, it's that purple. So let's put it in the shell. Geez, I've genuinely not built a Game Gear up in a shell for ages. I just always chuck them over for that to finish. So flip over. We need to cut this first. This is the original center post. Otherwise, what will happen is you'll put a screw straight through your nice new screen and break it. With that, I've got some clear black buttons in this case. Oh yeah, the purple I reckon will sell like crazy. We've got like 100 blue left before we need to, like, before we make these, but I've got the samples in. So if somebody wants this as well, I can sell you this purple one. Just don't know what it's worth. What would you sell it for? I think the Prestige is like 280 or something. I don't know, but this will be the only purple Game Gear out for 2 months. You'd have a proper little limited edition for a short period. Right, plus you'd also get the potentially the first ever V4, although everybody's going to get them by tomorrow, because literally out of the first, like, I think I've ordered 500 or 500 or 700 CleanScreen for the first batch. They came out today and we've sold 263. So that's literally, it sometimes does that though. You'll sell a load and then it'll slow right down. It's everybody buying them first, but there's also 3 out of the 4 wholesalers haven't even brought them yet. So, and then we've got Chinese New Year coming up. So as much as I'm not a pressure salesman, I honestly think we're going to end up running out of the CleanScreen in between now and Chinese New Year. So in the next, probably in 6 weeks, you might find they go out of stock for a couple of weeks maybe. So if you really want one, I'd grab one for now. Audio, I'm not going to bother putting the audio in the shell just for now because it doesn't work basically. But all you'd do is you'd literally put the speaker in here, and then the kit comes with, at the minute, it comes with stupid coloured ones like buttons that never sold, basically. So you can either do that and fit them in, or I can send you the 3D file of this exact shape and you can print your own, or I think people have even made little brackets, but it comes with these. People keep asking, why do you send stupid colours? It's just because we've got loads of button kits that we have to make the button kits separate, so these would cost money, and we don't charge for these at the minute. But a better solution would probably just be include a clear resin mould. I might make a mould for you basically to hold them in. So you can either do that, you could gently melt plastic with your iron if you want to be a bit brutal, or you could 3D print a bracket. You can do whatever you want to stick them in. But like I say, this audio isn't working, so for now, the audio on this is out of the question. But it's not hard, yeah. Why have I got 3 screws? Oh, that comes with the clean amp actually comes with the screws. I didn't even remember that. So I'll put them over there. The button kits also come with a single one, so that is the clear black, because I put clear black buttons in. So you could use the clear black one to hold a single speaker in, and then you still need one for your dual. And then we've got the power button. So for us, that's everything. We've got the buttons in. We haven't got the speakers in because the audio isn't working, so I'm not going to waste my time for now. And then all you do is you get this board. You put the volume or contrast, is that? Contrast wheel. You put the contrast wheel in first, like so, and then go down, and I like to wiggle it in place so it's sort of, you feel that it's flat. And then you can always flip over to check and press your buttons. They all feel all right. Yeah, that feels all good. So now I'm happy with that. We'll put all them little screws we took out of the original. I think the shell kits come with them. Yeah, the shell kits come with the screws, so they're all in the bag. The short and long as well. So to be honest, let's use the ones in the shell kit are pointy, whereas the original ones are flat. So let me just go to the overview. So see the original. I pull focus. There's the original. The ones that come in the kit have a little point on for a reason, because new plastic doesn't have the threads in yet. So see how they're just bare plastic. That's normal. These are called self-tapping holes. So the first time you put these in, and that will be, why doesn't that one want to sit flat there? Huh, weird. There. Oh, there you go. Once it clicks in both places, it kind of lines up with that plastic. See that hole's slightly off on that one, but it's perfect on that one. I think there's a few revisions of Game Gear. You know where we had the bracket that has to move left or right sometimes? It's probably because certain revision PCBs have this slight difference in hole position here, but it'll go in fine. So if we put the short screw in here, like so, let me get my, where's my little baby one gone? So this is like the baby not so torquey screwdriver. Let's see if we can tap the plastic. Just about. So he's like, the purpose of this one is that it doesn't over torque, so it's quite gentle. And let me see how tight that's gone. Yeah, that's actually doing a really good job. It sounds like it can't do anything, but it's putting them in at just the right amount of pressure. There's absolutely no screw depth left, but it hasn't overpowered it. And then we'll go with probably this hole there, line that one up. And again, short screw. So you can use the original screws, but the ones that come in the kit are designed to tap these holes, basically. The only thing is, at request, these are stainless, so they don't rust, and people wanted them. And then as soon as people got stainless, they realised they're non-magnetic, and they're a pain in the ass to screw in. And then people didn't like the stainless, but you guys asked for them, so I made loads of them. Is that not in the hole? Or is that? Why does that feel like it just going in the hole without screwing in? Yeah, it just felt weak, but it does go in. That's them. And then same again everywhere, basically. There's a screw here. You just look for the screw holes and screw it in. Yeah, I'm liking the screwdriver. It just feels and sounds like it's failing, but it's doing the job. There's one by the wheel. Saw the CleanScreen was dispatched today. Oh yeah, luckily this is the first one I've actually built other than the test one I've done, and I think it's actually done 3 or 4 today. It can now be, it's fully protected and encoded, so even if this goes out and then people have problems, you can update it with the USB port. So the benefit is we can, if we get any issues with this, bear in mind it's brand new code and a whole new product, we can over-the-air update for people. So that's like the big relief is, don't worry if you find issues with it. Hopefully you won't. But if you find issues or bugs, this isn't a fixed thing anymore. We can literally do an update over the air for you. So that's them in. One more there, I think. And the kit will come with more screws than you need in a way, because it's got screws for like the CleanScreen, and the CleanScreen comes with them. So you'll be left with some screws over. But I think that's all the shell screws. So they're all in. Now you got these 2 big ones. Don't forget these again. Ours come with these now. Somebody did point out these are actually slightly too long. So if you put these in, I think they're only too long though if you're using our game slot. And what will happen is they'll come through and pierce here. So let's see what happens on this one. We'll use the big one for this, I think. And no, that doesn't go through. So it must be an issue with if you're using the game slot. Then I think they said if you use the originals, they're slightly shorter. No, they're not. They're exactly the same size. But I do remember somebody mentioning if you're using our game slot, like a re-PCB and a game slot, I think these slightly come through and touch the, like when the glass goes down, they'd be touching it. So I'll probably revise these screws to be slightly smaller, or revise the game slots to come with a washer is probably the logical thing to do, maybe. So let's put this one in. And these are important because these are the main, like these big ones, the main thing that stop the board moving when you've got a game in. So that's that in. So that's where we're at now. And if we flip over, everything's in. And the one thing I want to do, which obviously you guys just asked, is can you update this without taking it apart? Yes, you can. But you're going to need a clean juice. So I have said clean juice here, and we'll figure that out. So it comes with, this is the only thing you can do with it at the minute is a clean juice. I am updating, obviously, new products. So I am updating the power core and the clean juice on the next one so that this connector here, this little flex ribbon, could be plugged in and flexed over to plug into the USB boards. And if other makers that, you know, plenty of people make power boards and things other than us, if they wanted to make a FPC connector on theirs, they could. All we're doing is sending ground D- and D+ over. VCC I'm not so sure about sending over yet. I need to think about that one. So for now, all we need to do is send over D- and D+ to the CleanScreen. So let's first assemble this into, put him there, assemble the clean juice in here. So clean juice goes over. It comes with a little plastic cover, so probably go to this one. I use a screwdriver similar, even though it sounds like it's not enough. Yeah, it pretty much sounds like it's failing. It's like, and then you check and it's fully in. Whereas this one's the exact opposite. Sounds like it's rounding the shit out of the screw heads and it's barely screwing it in. It's like, I've got one that sounds way overpowered and one that sounds weak, and they're literally the polar opposite. So this USB port here, plastic thing here, you want the thin piece. So see how one's thick, one's thin. thin piece is now at the bottom, goes into this hole here, and that's what holds it in. So it fits over the connector like that. It's quite firm. You just push, and basically the plastic should kind of crunch a little bit and then push in, and it's like a perfect pressure fit. So there's basically the port, and that's the cover. Now we go here and flip around. You've got the last remaining power switch from the button kit. I don't remember which way around this goes. Try it that way, fit it in the shell, and see if we've got it right. Of course we haven't, because it doesn't go down. So flip it around that way. Try again. And there you go, fits in. So can't really go wrong with that in a fashion. And then you've got the two screws, one here, one here. So again, from our shell kit, I'm just going to use the baby ones. But I think we said it come with it. So that one in here. And oh no, actually, don't put that in there. I was about to say we'll do that. The wires we want to attach are on the other side. So because we want to update this over the USB, like I say, this board is going to come with a little connector, so you can just plug in. But for now, if you want to do this, and this is so that you can update this, which I really recommend, you can update it without taking it out, because otherwise you can't get to this port. You'd have to unscrew all four, disconnect. It's a bit of a pain. We will solder to the D plus and D minus. So we go to here, put the extractor on. And then we will lob some solder on these two pins. Connect up the enamel wire. And just be careful, don't use, like, you can use a bit of flux, but be careful you're not using like RPA or flux and then it's soaking through to the screen underneath now. Now the screen's in, you don't want fluids going anywhere. I'm going to make this long enough to fit, so it's going to be, actually it's going to be this side, because the power board is going to be here, so it's only going to be over here, so it doesn't need to be that long. And again, it's USB, so you don't want to make it crazy long. You want it long enough that you can open the shell comfortably, but don't go crazy with the length if you can help it. It might just interfere with the UART signals. And then the best is yet to come when you see all the websites and the software I've been working on that make this into something that no other screen on the market has. Like, no one's even close to doing what we're doing on this now. So this is, and this will be the future for all clean screens. This code base I've worked on for this, I can just literally reuse for all the clean screens going forward. They don't need to be remade. I can reuse this code. View count, yeah, the view counts are ridiculously off. They never work. I think on YouTube it picks a random one, it picks a vertical or a horizontal, and then shows that number, and it literally, it just random basically. Right, if you're going to do this as well, one thing I do, D plus over here. So if you're trying to remember when it's in the shell, which one's which, what I do is I'll get, say, this side, the one I've cut is the D plus. So the D minus, I'll just make slightly smaller, like that. So now, if I pulled the wire straight, I've got one wire short, the other wire long. To me, naturally, the longer is the positive, because it's obviously bigger. So that's all I do if I'm trying to remember where, you know, which wire is which, and then going to be, you know, they're the same color wire. So a little trick there. Strip the ends of the wire, so expose that bit of the wire. And this one is the only downside with retrofitting it at the minute to a clean juice is the only pins that are available are one side of the USB cable. So it just means the USB works one way for the update. You have to just try it both ways. That's the only downside. And then as soon as this batch of clean juice is gone, which is pretty much now, I'll update it so it's got the FPC ribbon. Right, so we now want to take this, and I don't even recall, I think I sent Zach a picture actually, I'll have to look at what I sent. Right there, I'll share this somewhere, but at the minute it's basically just a screenshot. So move that over to there, close that down, pull that up. So that is my little diagram, which means we want to go over to this view, and on the bottom of the clean juice you can see these pins here. So it's basically saying top row, second one in. So this pin here is the positive, this one's the negative. So they're the pins we need to solder to. They look kind of, they're a bit shitty to be honest, the pins on this USB port. I'm not a massive fan of how they look. They're like really close. But they shouldn't be a problem to get on. Probably zoom right in so you can see. Again, same idea, flux, go over with a bit of solder, and let's see. Yes, that one's flown into that hole, and they barely look soldered as well, but they're not used anyway, the D+ and D- on the clean juice, so even if they're not soldered, they're not actually used. I'll probably come in from the side here, and see how this wire is exposed quite a lot. I'll probably trim that to be just the edges exposed, so we don't have like exposed conductive cable flopping around. And to be honest, I'm going to do the other one first, because the way my hands are, it doesn't feel right doing that one first. I want to do the top and then come down. So we'll do this one at the top there, and again I'll trim this one down, make it nice and short. So we want just a bit of the copper exposed there, and then all we have to do, I'll probably put a bit more flux on there, a bit more solder on the tip of my iron, and then I can go into here, position it well. If I could actually see the depth perception missing, and blob on. Yes, that's got it nice and solid, so see that's rock solid. And get the other one and do the same on this. And what I'm probably going to do as well, maybe if people don't want to do this, because this is, I suppose it's quite tight soldering, I mean that's on there, I'm just going to move it down a bit, is I'll make a little FPC board, I think, because that is, you know, it's quite a you know, it's quite a fine soldering in a way. I'm just that used to soldering. Where's me IPA? Did that do? Yeah, I think. Yeah. Yeah, so just be careful with IPA. Now the screen's actually in. You just want to make sure, again, those don't touch. They're not going to touch because they're physically separated, and we'll probably put a bit of UV on that, to be honest, just to make absolutely sure they're not going to touch. Because when we're moving this around, last thing we want to do is, won't do much damage, but we don't want to short those pins out, basically. Give me 2 seconds on this, I'll just put it on mute. There we go. So all I've done is blobbed a bit of UV over the top of that and cured it. So now they can't touch. And let me tidy up a bit. I've got quite a bit of stuff all over the place at the minute. the way. Batteries I don't need now. There. Right, so I think we should probably let me do a quick test that this works on PC because I don't want to screw all this together and it not work. So let me just plug this in and then wait till you see this website I've been working on with all the other stuff. The fun stuff's about to be shown off. So I won't reveal what it is just yet. Let me see if it works. At least the website's actually up and running at the minute, which is a good start. I'll need to power the console because this is the way this is wired in. At the minute, we're not passing the power through, so that's on. So now what I'll do is, oh, I'll say the website's on. Website is not loading for me. I wonder if I've got I shouldn't have debugger enabled. So I've literally never tested this outside of the server room at the minute. Yeah, it's not up and running. Okay, let me spin up. I'll spin up the desktop app. I'll fix this obviously for tomorrow. But what I'm going to do is launch a... I was tempted, and I still might, I can distribute the software to like control this as, you know, a PC app. But at the minute, it's run through, like I've managed to also port it to the web, so it's a full web app. So that was the goal. Like it will be. I'll fix it tonight. So it works, but I can't be bothered going to the other room to sort the server out. I'm just going to run a local instance for now so I can run it. So just give me 2 seconds for this to just nothing but clean screens selling on the website while I'm doing this stream at the minute. Get rid of that. Open. GitHub. Hardware. GG. Clean screen. Is this not? Oh, this is old, isn't it? PC Pi. They're the old folders. V4. There we go. Right. I can run. I will run. I suppose I'll run on the desktop. I'll run the desktop version. The only benefit of it being a desktop app is it can auto reconnect on the USB port if it drops or restarts and things. That's like the only benefit. Whereas the web, due to security, doesn't let you to restart. Site's working for you. Which site? Because I haven't technically even released the sites yet as such. I suppose they are technically on the product page now. But this is an app website, so I'll get it working. Now I've got a feeling all it'll be is the server that's running this has probably still got Visual Studio or Rider attached to it, so it's probably just literally breakpointed at a like a debug statement, and I just need to go in and disable debugging. I'm probably just running a debug build at the minute because I've only just released it half an hour before coming on stream. Any updates on Turbo PCB? Not just yet. I've just been that busy. I can't run that without installing WASM. Go to the desktop app, and I'll install that while we wait. Command line. This poor PC is running about 12 things for streaming. I've got files copying over to an SSD. I'm building a server. Then, where's the app? Is it running? Wow, this is slow when you stream and you try to do other things. Detach, debugger. Right then, so I will bring this over. I don't think I'm showing off anything I shouldn't. So if I now pull up this, there we go. So I've had the Game Gear running this whole time, I think, as well. Yeah, so this is the app that there'll be a website for. So if you went to buy the product, all the links are on there. There's a website that this exact app will appear on. If I just plug the USB cable into my PC, and I'll plug it in one way, I don't know which way it is yet, then this drop down here, maybe it's 47, the latest one. No, 46. No, one, it'll auto find if so. So none of them work. So let's flip this cable around because, as I mentioned, soldering into the clean juice, the cable will only work one way around. And of course, this isn't detecting either. So it's actually running. Oh. I haven't got it plugged in, so I need to plug the board in first. Let's try again. This needs to actually be connected to the Game Gear, otherwise the Game Gear's got no power, therefore the board's not powered. So let's try that again. So cable in one way, turn on, and then let's see if we've got a new port now. So there's no new port, so if we flip the cable around, I'm going to presume this will all be good then. There you go, you can even connect to the PC. So now in here, you've got a new port, and this should connect. If it doesn't connect, maybe disable and enable. No, that should be connecting. Try turning it off, maybe. Back on. Let's see. Nope, so have I got the wiring the wrong way? I don't think I have. Positive there. I'm pretty sure that wiring's right. Negative there. Power's on. That's running, but let's put a game in so we can see. Let's turn it on. Let's just check everything's running. Yeah, so that's all running. Oh, I know why. It's going to be this. See how it's trying to connect there? I think this. I've got this USB cable going through an extension of an extension. So this is a massive USB cable. So it's probably going to struggle. Yeah, it's struggling to connect, but it's connected now. So you can see how we've got basically when you've got the core, you can't really use this application. It just tells you what your device ID is and you can upgrade. So you can't see much with this. The core is meant to be just the product. But you can click high, and basically the high will tell you, if you click into it, you've got details. So we've got the device ID, which is key. It's a core, it's encrypted and signed. This one's ZAC1 because anyone that have come into this room that ZAC will build, I've flagged it with ZAC1. If they go out to the Retro 6 US distributor, they'll be flagged with US, stuff like that. Checking all the RAM isn't corrupt. All good stuff. You don't really need to see much of that as such. What we can do is if I flip this over, you can see this is running. We can do you can do an update for one if this works. Refresh. You can see we can change version. So this will actually download, encrypt, and update. So when I release a new version, all you've got to do is plug it in, click update, refresh. It'll fetch from the server, and then you can just download and update. And it's fully encrypted, so it'll only work on your device. You can't like copy and paste the files over and it just work on another. It's literally for protection, obviously. We can factory reset. So you can click this and it'll reset the entire clean screen. So if I click that now, it'll warn that it's going to reset. This will then obviously hang, do a reset, disconnect, and restart. And now that's all factory reset if you have issues. If you hold the test button on the clean screen, so we hold that under there, it'll freeze. So you can see if you let go and press, kind of freezes the Game Gear. If you keep holding, it'll then say there's no Game Gear because we froze the Game Gear. It'll then give you the version number, 408. It'll then warn you that it's going to reset. And if I let go first, it won't. If you kept that held though, if you just kept the test button held, it'd do the factory reset, so you don't need the PC for that. But now comes the fun stuff. So that's kind of the boring stuff. That's just the... So let's move that out of the way because that looks a bit boring. Before we get into the fun stuff, let's build this up. Now we know it works. One thing you can do, a trick on here as well, is I can remember now that I've got a cable that's got Logitech written on, and it's got it written on the back side. So because this is only going to work one way until we have the FPC cable, I know when I'm plugging it in, I don't want to see the word Logi. I want it to be the other way. So let me just quickly assemble this into the case. So we're just dealing with a proper Game Gear. And then we'll get on to showing off the Pro features and the Ultra features. So for this, we want to put the batteries through the holes in the case. So I want to disconnect that a minute. On the back of here, we have, this is how long it's been since I've done this. Like genuinely, I do all the work and then pass off the assembly. I've literally not physically hand-built a Game Gear for a while, like the last stages of. So the short battery goes in this side because it's by the power board. And then they can go in nice and snug. So they literally are snug, they don't even fall out. And then the long side goes through, I believe we go through. There's two places you can go through. You can bend that pin out the way, or you can go through. There's a little hole here, I think it fits through. Yeah, just about fits through. That little hole there, he says. I'm sure it fits through that hole. Maybe it doesn't. So maybe we go through that one. I know you can bend this tab out and go through that hole, because I remember doing it. But I thought it just about, I'm sure if you get it just about angle, you can fit it through this little hole in the corner here. I think it's just about getting the angle right. Just obviously, you don't want to really be pushing it with tweezers because you can short the two pins out. You don't want to be shorting the battery out, but if we're careful, let me see if I can get that through. Yeah, so with a gentle push, that does go through that hole. And then it'll come out there. So I don't think that's the way I originally, when I designed these, recommended. I think I said you can bend this battery tab down here and kind of go through. There's a big hole behind the battery tab, basically, like there, that big hole. But it does fit through that corner, and then the wire is naturally in that corner. So to be honest, that's probably the way you want to go. And that's them in. And then all that's left to do, because this one doesn't have sound, is screw the power board in. So we'll flip that over like that. We'll put this in here, and we will rest it like that. And there we go. So you've got this resting in place. We'll get them screws in now to secure this in. There we go. So that's in. And now we flip over, we just got to connect these batteries. So battery 1 will go into here, and battery 2 has got a, I suppose you need to see this angle. Battery 2's got a big wire. Can't remember where this goes. I think it goes around here, all the way around like that, up, and something like that. Yeah, so I think that's where it goes. Should know I made this, it's just I made it 5 years ago. There we go. So that's them batteries in. And now, if we flip over, try and keep that in position. Also check on here while we're here. Make sure, because some of these ship with VREF bypass on by mistake. So see this little switch here. VREF bypass is like a test. So see how that's on now? It wasn't, I don't think. Make sure it's on this side off, otherwise your fast on off won't work. 34 volts is, yep, off at the minute, because we don't want that going into the system. So I think that's it. It's plugged into the board. We've got no audio on this, like we say, the audio didn't work, but it's not a video on showing you the audio, so I'm just literally going to ignore that. Take the game out the back. Make sure these little blue wires we had don't get caught and broke. And then we can put the thing physically together like that. So now let's just do one last sanity check before we put some screws in the back. Let's bring up the software again, which still thinks it's connected until you click hi, and then it will realize it's not connected. And then we want the part without the Logitech going in, because we know that's the way this port works on ours. Turn on. Obviously, we've got no Sonic in at the minute. It's connected, and I'm pretty sure that'll auto-connect. There we go. So that's working. So we're good to put some screws in here. Oh, this is, I was like, why can I see the clean screen there? This is a prototype shell, so we haven't got the metal. Where's the casing? We haven't got the metal cover on. That cover. So I'll transplant that over if anybody wants to buy this limited edition purple that completely looks blue on stream because of the camera. So I'm only going to put a few screws in this, considering we'll be opening it back up. That'll be the longer screws that come in the kit. So let's just chuck a few of them in. And then I'll fix the audio and the metal cage and stuff like that after. But like I say, this is meant to be a video for those that have just brought the clean screen until I do another video in a few days. So I don't want to drag this video too much into non-clean screeny stuff. Right, so there's the console. So now we can work with it a bit easier. So we have Sonic going in. Let's look at some good stuff then. So plug the cable in. Clean screen's what it is. Looks nice. You can see it yourself. You've got a brightness wheel, as you would expect. This is now technically a digital brightness wheel, so we can control this in software. It's not actually passing through this wheel. We're reading the voltage of the wheel and making a mind up as to what we do with it. One thing I should have said as well, look, I've got one here. If you're not happy with the brightness, like I've set this brightness now, the max brightness, to not quite as bright as the V3 because it was like way over bright. If you want it brighter, which I don't really recommend, you don't need it brighter. There's very little, where's my mouse? There's very little benefit to going even brighter. But I've put, oh, of course, the one I've got here is a prototype. I'll grab another. You've got a little brighter blob here. So if you really want to, bridge this over here, and it will make the screen's overall brightness brighter. You know, the max brightness is brighter. We have SD screen, ignore that. That is potentially a future thing where I might make it work with the older resolution screens to sell it for a bit cheaper. Don't know whether I'll do that or not yet. This test button, if you wanted to, you can solder 2 wires here and put a button anywhere else or a capacitive touch. And then this test button in Pro can be mapped to anything, taking screenshots, debug information, do whatever you like. So there's 2 pads there for exporting this as like a test button, if you will, to do other things. SD card's coming, so that's not out yet. That's the NeoPixel LED. So this is, I haven't done the code for this yet. It's pretty much not written yet, but I'll do it shortly. If you wanted to put LEDs, your own, all throughout the shell, there's an extra pin here for Neo. And then I could write some code for you guys so that the LED chains and you could have like effectively almost a clean light run off this board without it being a clean light. So that's future expansion. VGA and RGB and HDMI are all coming. So again, all these things are coming and you can do future updates over the air. But for now, I'll show you what is ready right now today. Let's bring that back. So clean screen, what it is. You can also as well, what I've done at the minute is the old menu left to and start. If you hold for over half a second, well, let's wait for that to finish. It'll act as you're pressing the test button at the minute. So see the timer counting up. If I just hold start to and left, it's going to freeze the game, go to no GG, go to the version number. So it's acting like we're holding the test button. So that will turn into an on-screen menu. But for now, I've just wired it in as being the test button. And again, the benefit to this is because I can update it all through the software, so we don't need to worry about that. So that's the That's the CleanScreen core. So let's go over to here and say you want to go, I want to do more, I want the Pro. The Pro is £10. So bear in mind, this screen now is £10 cheaper than the V3. And the upgrade to Pro is £10. So it's basically the same cost as V3. If I click upgrade, it will take me to this awesome looking website. And that's quite zoomed in. Let's zoom out. So I encourage you to take a look at this site. So if I refresh that page, so you see, it'll load the page, scroll down. One of the cool things here is it knows I'm on Core and it's saying you can have Pro. And if I scroll down, there's Ultra as well. If I scroll up though, if you just go to cleanscreen.retro6.co.uk, this is all an all-in-one site. So this is really interactive. You click, you got little clickies. I spent way too much time making this site. You can put audio on. We should have, I think, yeah, we've got background audio. It's really quiet on this because I've got the audio turned down. But there's just like loads of nice little Easter eggs. Let me show you one. Just don't ask why. It's just retro. There is hidden stuff in here as well. So there's a lot of things that are hidden on this site, but take a look around. Enjoy scrolling through, having a read. Got nice little retro noises. Go to Ultra, click in. So yeah, basically, nice little site. This is kind of the advertisement for the CleanScreen. And just a bit of interactivity. This will keep expanding just for fun. But if you click purchase, if I close that and you click upgrade here, what it's going to do is open the website. It's going to tag in your ID. You can see at the top. And now I can go and buy. So I could also type this myself. So I could just go in here. And you can see it says that's the wrong ID, because obviously it isn't the ID. And then if I go 33, that was the ID. I can now purchase. So if I click purchase, it's going to now load. If I drag this off out the way a minute, it's only on the demo mode. I'll put this live later, but let me just fill out this with random info. And then I'll literally flick the switch before any of you guys can do much with this, because no doubt everybody's going to be trying to buy random stuff on here now it's on the stream. But right, so go back over. There's just some random card info. I'm going to complete payment. Now, a cool thing, I've written all this, by the way, so literally everything about this whole thing I've written: the website, the key generation, the encryption, the purchasing, the clean screen. Because I've written all of it, when I buy this, it's going to message me in Discord and tell me that I've bought, which is cool. So if I click buy, it's going to buy. And if you listen, maybe you'll hear Discord go off if I've got it open. There's that. I don't think I've got Discord open. Let me open it up. What channel is this getting here? Right, so if I go to clean screen purchases, I think I can show this off here. I can. So if I go over here, you can see I've now got a message saying we just purchased. And this is to make sure that if anything goes wrong, I've got history to know where people purchased, if the payment went through. And that's pretty much it. So it's telling you it's successful. So watch this now. If everything's worked, this is the first time. I can close this down. And then I'm here, just click refresh. So you see how it says core here? Just click refresh. And it didn't work. Oh, it does, yeah. So there we go, Pro. Just that click refresh twice. So now we've unlocked everything. So watch this. Screenshot. Give me a screenshot. Why is my screenshot not there? Right click, fill. Oh, I think I broke my little... don't tell me I broke my little software. I should be seeing a little window here. Maybe I've just got to restart this because of the update, maybe? I didn't think so. There we go. Just enable and disable. Little bug there. So there's the screenshot. So we've got Sonic here. Say we're jumping around and we pause, pause the game there. We could capture screenshot. And there's a screenshot. Now, this isn't just on there. Click this. Click here where we did the screenshot. Click there. And it's opened up on my other window. So let's drag that over. And you can see it's saved a super high res. Stop going to the other window. Super high res, pixel perfect capture of Sonic. Now this isn't redrawn. This is the live frame data coming off the Game Gear. This isn't like reinterpreted. This is the actual pixel data off the Game Gear, and it's captured them screenshots. So if you just wanted to do screenshots alone, you could do it basically. So that's one feature. And again, all these features are going to be stuff that I can add and work on. Scanlines is wicked. So let me show you. Overlay. The screen has faded last I checked, but makes me want to put my GG in the garage. I think I've missed some. I'm not reading messages too much, by the way, at the minute, because obviously I'm showing all this off. So apologies if I'm missing. That's a nice. Oh yeah, I didn't show you the alignment as well. Apologies if I'm missing some of the chat, because obviously I'm trying to do this video on really the install of this. So brightness up and down. That's got a bit of glare on from the. There we go. Tilt that up. That's more like what it looks like. Scan lines. Where's my mouse? There we go. Now, doesn't look as cool on the camera there. Probably just the focus distance. Maybe I'll just slightly blur it. Like maybe there is how my eyes perceive it. But scan lines are just really, really nice. Let's toggle this on and off, man. I just want to see let it run and animate, so I don't have to keep leaving it static. Yeah, on screen that looks meh, but in person, honestly, that's like really nice. I love the scan lines; they're like natural. I know the Game Gear was vertical, but I much prefer these. So you turn them off, turn them on, and obviously it all depends on the focal range. So if I really focus in, I could probably like zoom in to show you the pixels closer, and then focus. There. So if we toggle the scan lines on and off, you can see pixel perfect scan lines are like really nice. But in person they look lovely. Like I don't think they look that good on. Yeah, maybe get just the right angle. They look good. That's that. You can pause the Game Gear capture, resume it. Don't ask why. Just did that so you could. Maybe you just want to, pause and restart. Obviously, it then thinks there's no Game Gear because I've paused it. So if I click pause, the other thing you can see at the bottom here, these green, the VSync and HSync. If you haven't got an oscilloscope, you can now, this will tell you the Game Gear's actual HSync and VSync frequency, not just if they're there or not. So if you mix these up, it'll say the VSync is running at 15 kilohertz and the HSync is running at 50 or 60 kilohertz, 60 hertz rather. So it's like an oscilloscope built in. The white wheel as well. If I turn the brightness up and down, see that wheel going up and down now? So you've got live brightness visuals, so you can see all that happening. You've got whether it's Japanese or NTSC. Now, because the consoles actually have, if it's a 1 ASIC, the region for Japan is the exact opposite of when it's a 2 ASIC. So it reports if you've got a 1 ASIC, it's Japanese. Otherwise, if you've got a 2 ASIC, which this is, it's NTSC. The mode is Game Gear, so it knows it's Game Gear. It obviously works with SMS as well. And then what else have we got? We've got the restart. So if I click restart, that just restarts the clean screen if you've got issues. You've got the update, which is for, again, doing updates when I release new versions. It's as simple as click refresh, click this button, click update, and it'll do the update for you. Save and load settings are really just debugging. It's like, do you need to save? And if you save settings, it'll like kind of flick the screen on and off. At the minute, there might be a few bugs in this, by the way, the pro side, because this is very early on. But if you get issues, just literally bear with me or report them on Discord and I'll fix them. And then this is a cool one. I don't know whether I've fully flagged this out yet to work clean. But if I go to say Angel 6, wallpapers, nature, this should hopefully work. I've put quite a bit of work into this, but this might be buggy at the minute. Let's pick, say, this one. I'm going to upload a picture. You can click here to monitor the progress. You can see it's uploading. And then what it'll do is this will kind of freeze and go all staticky. See all this flickering. This is as it's writing the massive image to the screen. And if everything goes to plan, you can see it's failed at the top here. It hasn't really failed. And there's now the splash screen I just uploaded from the PC. See how it's corrupt at the bottom? It isn't quite right yet. So we can probably try that again. That might also be because this USB cable on about is really long and it might be corrupting that data. And again, like I say, very early software. So if it doesn't work, just report it and I'll fix it. And then you don't need to update the software. It's going to be on a website. So let's see if it works the second time. But the point of this is you can upload a custom splash screen, basically, if you're wondering what this is. Yes, that's just I'll have to fix that code. It's basically like corrupt at the bottom. So now if I turn off the Game Gear and turn it back on, you'll get that custom boot screen and then the actual console loads. So that's the point of that that feature. If it goes off as well, see how the software's kind of gone off. If you click high, it re-attempts to connect and re-enable everything, because obviously as you turn it on and off, you're disconnecting the USB. So let's try, I don't know, let's try this one. See if it works. But again, like I say, don't worry about if there's any bugs in software, because this is all completely user updatable. And it takes a while. Did that actually bomb out? I think I did bomb it. Yeah, we've definitely got a bad USB cable here going through 2 extensions and streaming. But it shouldn't be a problem. I can obviously improve this. There's another cool thing I'll show you in a second as well. Just want to see if I can get a screenshot uploading proper for once. Yeah, advertising's a big one. Yeah, so it looks like it's actually a bug in software there. See how it's offsetting? So it's almost like it's writing that and then corrupting the bottom. So I've probably just got a bug at the minute. So I'll sort that out. But you get the idea. That's going to be a custom splash screen. I'm working on this most days as well. So you'll find that... turn them scan lines off. Oh, that's nicer. At least on Capture it is. And then you can obviously delete the splash screen if you don't want it. So another thing as well, is if I click upgrade again now, watch this. I'll scroll down. It knows I've got Pro. And it's literally taken me to the Ultra. And it's lowered the price to £5. So if I change this, see how it's £15 to go straight to Ultra. And if I put the code in, it knows I'm on that. Even if you go up here and go, oh, right, I'm in here, you delete that. It knows, like, obviously if I delete 2 characters, say, and I put a valid ID in, it instantly knows you're on Pro, moves you down to Ultra. If you try to buy Pro, tells you you've got Pro. And then for Ultra, you can click the same. You click buy, it'll open up, you'll enter the £5 extra, you'll go back to the site, and then it tells you to refresh. And that's how easy the purchase is, basically. And then, yeah, I've added loads of little things. Typing noises, clicking noises, little jingles, you know, just so you enjoy the site when you're on it, really. So it's not just a boring site. It was a really boring shit site originally, but now it's got all them features. And then this is the final now. See the screen here? See the screen here? Watch this. Zoom in and out with the wheel. Drag around. Tell me that isn't cool. Right click, fit or fill. So that's integer scale going through the shell. Right click, fit. And the fit is actually, in the software, I haven't updated it yet to where it is. So see how the fit's like, obviously not right there yet. You can also see how it says resize GG. You can just type the commands in here. So it says resize GG, X, Y, width, height. So we could say resize GG, go to the top left, 0, 0, make it 100 pixels and 100 pixels. Super small screen. And then, I don't want it there, I want it dragged around here. And then sometimes, by the way, this will crash and reset because I haven't perfected the... there's one glitch where when it saves to flash, sometimes it'll crash, basically. So see how the screen's disappeared here? I don't know whether. Just on and off. Maybe the disable and enable will bring that back. Let me see. Yeah, it's just like a glitch in this. I'm still working on this because I've got another thing where instead of just dragging and dropping here, you can also use the left and right arrows to move it left and right, up and down. You can hold shift to do 1 pixel at a time for pixel perfect positioning. So if I'm moving left and right, I can get really accurate. You can obviously, this is the original 1-to-1 scale. So that's the size of actual, that's the Game Gear base. That's the real pixel perfect 1-to-1 scale. And then, oh yeah, so another cool thing, say for whatever reason, you want a massive Sonic on screen. So if we do the, let's turn him on and off. There's my little custom corrupt splash screen. If we get Sonic to appear on here, what I'm going to do then, make sure this is connected. So say this Sonic, you just wanted to see Sonic massive on screen. Or I'll tell you what, actually, it's more about when you go to the gameplay. This is just because you can kind of thing. It's not a main thing. Difference between Pro and Ultra. At the minute, the Ultra is going to be the one with HDMI and SD card support. That's the plan for the Ultra. The Pro will have everything except those two things at the minute. So say you're running around with Sonic like this, and I don't know, you just want to see a massive Sonic because you can. If you were to just screen capture now, it's going to grab Sonic in that position. So now I can just scale him in visually on the PC, drag him to exactly where I want him, and I know he's going to be right there. Then I can unpause the game and I'll play with a giant Sonic. Like, it's just, I don't know why you want that, but you can have it. And I don't think I put some crazy limit on the size. I think I put like 5,000, so I think you can do resize, even Sonic saying, why would I want to do that? Resize GG, I don't know, -2,000, -2,000, 5,000, 5,000. There you go. There's your coin counter. And then you can drag this around and make Sonic ridiculous. Like, there he is. Whoever wanted to see Sonic like that. And then left and right. And where is he? So yeah, just crazy stuff we can do. But if you've got any suggestions of what you want to see or what you want added, just let me know, because basically this is the first release. This is just a hint at what it can do and the benefits of having this. And then if you want to, I guess, know more, or if you want to add features, just let me know, because now they're all out. You can basically plug them into PC, use that website, and update the code. I could write custom code just for you if you really wanted something special, or features that you wanted. That's basically the point of it. And obviously it's perfectly integer scale. So see how I've got as well now, I've moved the screen around, it's not scaled. If I just hold left 2 and start, let it go through its process. It should tell me, there you go, 408, it's going to say it's going to reset, and then it'll just do a factory reset and reposition the screen perfectly. And there you go, now we've got back to perfectly around the edge. And if you went over the top like that, and held the buttons for a short time, you'll see that that pixel outline is perfectly aligned, basically. No need for EverDrive with Ultra. There is. Quite a few people have wanted that. They think because of how powerful it is and the fact we can show things on screen and do things, it's not connected to the cartridge pins. So technically, no. I'm sure it's something I could do. Obviously, a different board, but yeah, there's that. Modder passwords, yeah, there already is stuff like that. There's already a lot baked in that you can't see, and that suppliers like Retro6 US has got some abilities in here you can't see that he can enable to do other things. I've obviously got an entire admin backend that I can encrypt these things, program them, upgrade them, bypass everything, obviously because I can. So yeah, there's a lot for this, but because I've written absolutely everything from start to finish of this entire product, it means that we can do anything from now. So this is, like I say, the starting point. This is the Game Gear clean screen that now should be the final one we need, because we can update anything we want and do anything we want with it. So anything you guys want to see, just literally post it in Discord or drop an email or a message, and definitely let me know your feedback on this. Hopefully it works for everyone. Like I say, any bugs you come across, just report them. It's literally, it's not even like, it's had 0.08 revision, so it's had 8 minor revisions from the point to be getting the code just good enough to release, because obviously we ran out of V3s and I had to make V4s, and I wasn't expecting the V3s to... I made the V4 about 6 to 8 months ago, and then I didn't release it. Well, I announced I was going to release it, and then it absolutely killed sales for the V3. Nobody was buying them. So we had about a month's stock of V3 left, typically. I announced the V4, and then it took 6 months to sell the V3. I forgot about it, and we ended up going out. We got about 2 weeks stock left of the V3. So I was like, oh shit, I'm going to have to wrap up this V4. Because I got it to a point where it was proof of concept. I knew it was possible. And then because the V3 sales slowed down, I just stopped working on it. So I had to pull out all the stocks back out, finish the product, and then I forgot how much was involved in, like, it wasn't just the clean screen. It was like, oh yeah, I need a distribution server. oh shit, I need encryption. Oh, I need this, that, the other. And there was loads of things I needed. And the website and the point of sale and all that lot. So, yeah, it took a lot of me time, more than I was expecting to actually have to do, basically. The shell of a bigger screen. All you need to do for the shell is cut a slight window out. So we'll probably offer CNC'd windows that then, when you turn on, you can change the resolution to be integer scale. But to be honest, because these are so close to integer scale, even when they're scaled up, you don't really notice even if they're not perfectly integer scaled on every line. Like this is technically a few pixels off. You just don't notice because the screen is 4 times the resolution of the old one. But yeah, we've had a few people want to widen the window. I think we'll let people see it first, see if it's still really that big of a demand, and if it is, then I guess we'll get some of the shells CNC'd, so that you guys can actually, not have to cut them yourself and they can be fairly clean. Oh, I went down the hole now. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. It's pretty much the initial video of the V4. So anyone that's brought it can at least now see how to install it. And then what I'll do is I'll do a single video. So I'll do a video then on like just installing the clean screen. I'll then do probably a video on the pro features and the upgrades and the website and stuff. Do like separate, specific videos that aren't dragged out. So people that want to see how to install it don't have to watch technically just a live stream. But in the rush, this was the solution. I really needed to get a video out because we've literally sent hundreds of them out today, and this is the only content on it. Like there is no other content. This is the only video you're going to find on how to install this at the minute. So at least it's worked, gone to plan. I was hoping it was because, like I say, they're all out the door. But yeah, keep me posted on problems. I don't expect this to be an easy and straightforward run. The V3 was certainly a pain when we first released it. And to be honest, it's still a bit of a pain every now and then, but it's matured. But yeah, I don't expect it in any way to just be, oh, I've released it and it works perfect. But the beauty of this is any problems we can update. So it's not a problem. Like the V3 was, like everybody else's boards, FPGAs. They're flashed once, they're encrypted, and you're screwed if there's a bug. That's why you have to really make them. I'm not saying you don't have to make these good, but there's a bit less pressure on the V4 that I'm not too worried that I know there's a few little glitches because I can just roll out an update. So it really takes the pressure off. And bear in mind, this is a Raspberry Pi Pico that is not meant to be able to do what it's doing. Like I have abused the PIOs on this Pico. It should not be capable of doing all this stuff. It's also got VGA, simultaneous VGA output as soon as I finish that code, as well as HDMI. So it's driving a triple buffer in the Game Gear, an LCD at 640, locking at 60 frames a second while the Game Gear can run at 50 or 60, outputting to HDMI, running a full USB protocol, updating an LED, reading an SD card. It's like ridiculous how much I've crammed into this, but it's doing it, which is the important thing, and it's cheaper than the V3. So hopefully people will enjoy this and will, well, based on the sales, they're crazy. This is, I think, it's probably the fastest selling clean screen we've had. I don't think we've sold 260 at the very first day of release. Like, I know there've been pre-orders, but I think we sold 160 of them in the last week. Most people have kind of just waited for the definite release date and then brought. So it's a good start. I just hope you guys enjoy it. But I've put a ton of work into this. So if you do find problems, be kind. Don't, bear in mind, it's a lot of my work's gone into this. So I'm always up for constructive criticism, but I'd also love a bit of, this is good, but this is broken. Not just, can you fix this? It's broken. Try and break me indelicately. I don't want to find out that everybody's got a broken board on day one. But hopefully this will just work. The only thing I'd say is when you're doing the little pre-test when you plug in, just remember you can get it, as well as like if you get any dirty power at the minute can make the screen flicker a little bit. It's something I want to try and work on in software. But if you get like a little screen glitch, it might be a power supply. Like you saw, I think you saw at the very end, where just before I turned it off, probably because this was plugged into the PC, it was adding a little bit of noise. So when you're on the PC with this, you can get a bit of crossover noise from your PC. So you might get a bit of glitching while it's plugged into the PC, messing around with the settings. But when it's on normally, hopefully you shouldn't. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. I might go bring Rusty in a minute because I keep saying I will. And you haven't seen Rusty in ages. Is that fully zoomed out? Yeah, so I'll bring him in. He can just about fit on here. I think I can swing that around like that. Yeah, let's go get Rusty. Oh, he's not happy. There's food on the table. He's here. Oh, you're not going to be happy, are you? There we go. You haven't been on camera for ages. Yes, I know. Oh, thank you. What do you think of the new game gear? Hey. Oh, is that good? Right. Or is it not food? I don't think we've even got food in here. Yeah. Yeah, so normally when we had the little swingy camera, Rusty was on camera all the time. But he's definitely not wanting to. I know, I'll take you back to the food in a minute. He's literally, everybody's having tea, so. Oh, yeah, snuggling in. Right then, so that's it for this one, guys. I will be back on. I'll probably now I've got this rush out the way. I'll probably take my time and catch up with a load of other stuff. I've got software work to do. I've got obviously the other businesses that I run as well, so I've got to catch up on all of them. Thank you. Yes. And this has been crazy. I've been like flat out on this for a few weeks, so I'll probably not be on stream for a couple of days while I catch up with everything else. But then I will be back. You can't be seen on the vertical. No one can see you. See if I can turn that. Oh, there he is. Turn that camera. Pull focus. Got to have a focus, Rusty. There you are. Look at that. Yeah, so I'll be back on in a few days, I reckon. And then you won't be in this room, don't you? You've got your carpet now. Oh, I like them nuggies. I'm not sure what this has turned into. This has turned into a pug show. Right, that's it. I'm going to cuddle Rusty and end the stream. Thanks everybody for joining in. And let me know how you go on with the, let me know how you get on with the V4 CleanScreen. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I've enjoyed making it. Oh yeah, get that luggy. There we go. Can we get some grub? Hey, yeah, get some grub. Come on then.